you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living out of a goofy, entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate. Google it if you want to know more. Any day, any...
And you turned on Netflix that night. We were like, holy fuck, I'm about to see the greatest live sporting event of all time.
Although, let's face it, having $3 million on the line doesn't hurt. Tate isn't entering the ring for the attention or the money. No, it's about reclaiming a sport that Jake Paul has been using as his own little TikTok stage since his agonizingly uncomfortable battle with Mike Tyson, which was dubbed a sad comedy that summer. Tate didn't mince words. He flatly accused Paul of disdaining not only Tyson but also the holy sport of boxing for Tate.
Nobody is sitting down right now. Good reason. We have not only champions of the past, we have world champions of the...
This fight was not only lackluster, it was an insult to all warriors who have ever been knocked out cold or bled broken bones in the name of greatness. Let's not sugarcoat it either. Jake and Tyson's altercation was more theatrical than athletic. Even though Tyson was almost 60 years old and limped into the ring wearing a knee brace, he still gave Jake a hard time. Did Jake leave the fight feeling less respected? Oh no, he proclaimed himself the best boxing showman by strutting around as if he had just united all the titles. The harsh reviews referred to it as a farce, and the backlash was swift.
You know, there's a lot of... in Portnoy went out and said that it was the greatest con job of all time, and I mean, if you didn't think that that's the way the fight, I don't know what people expect.
Even Tyson loyalists thought their hero had been reduced to a pawn in Jake's endless power as fans tore him apart online. Chase, however, Andrew Tate is about to come out of retirement like a Coliseum gladiator, prepared to do what Tyson was unable to do to permanently silence Jake Paul. When was Tate ever subtle? That's why his approach isn't subtle. He succeeded. Stunningly clear, Tate is more than willing to give Jake the reality check he needs. Ignore the phony smiles and Instagram-worthy press briefings. Tate is wagering $3 million of his personal funds on this bout. The victor will keep everything. This is a statement, not a social media gimmick or a salary.
What? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful.
Boxing belongs to real fighters, not wannabe influencers with bloated egos and questionable training regimens. Andrew Tate has the credentials to back up his bold talk, a four-time world champion with decades of grit and a highlight reel that proves his worth. Then there's Jake Paul, the embodiment of a modern boxing era no one asked for. Fresh off his Tyson escapade, Paul does what he does best: dismiss criticism and double down on theatrics. He brushes off backlash as jealousy, claiming anyone who doesn't worship him is bitter about his success. Paul even mocked Tate, calling him a washed-up kickboxer, and took jabs at Carl Froch while he was at it. That's Jake's playbook: drag people into his circus, throw out a few insults, and laugh all the way to the bank. It's a game for him, but for real fighters, it's about respect, legacy, and skill. Here's the twist, though. This time, Jake is not merely portraying the antagonist, he is balancing the roles of a loudmouth who enjoys controversy and a fighter who urgently needs to establish that he is more than just hype. A defeat by Tate will not only bruise Jake's pride but also destroy the foundation of the empire he has built on meticulously planned bouts and viral moments.
Yeah, he'll never do that though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract. And
he's not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better.
As we all know, Dana White is more than just a promoter. He is also the chess master for Jake Paul vs. Andrew Tate in combat sports. His most recent checkmate term is White saw the pandemonium and decided, let's steer this shipwreck. Rather than rolling his eyes like the rest of us because he had finally had enough of Jake's circus performance after years of influencer-driven boxing that turned legitimate competitors into memes. Enter Andrew Tate. A fighter with real credentials and enough contempt for Paul to power the entire Vegas Strip. He stepped in, gave it a shining story, and now Jake Paul is going to meet a man who isn't here for the influence but for blood. Dana White didn't mince words, describing the fight as the ultimate blend of skill, spectacle, and storytelling, a way of saying it's going to be brutal, but fans will love every second. When White talks like that, you know he means business. This isn't just about throwing punches, it's about creating a spectacle so huge it elevates combat sports beyond the influencer scene. Jake Paul has been involved in every step, from brokering peace between the camps, ensuring his side gained every advantage, to making sure the fight rules didn't turn into a TikTok challenge. White's involvement has transformed what could have been a cringe-worthy social media spat into the fight everyone's eagerly talking about. Despite the fact that Dana is a statistics guy, let's not act as though he is only here for prestige. Indeed, the disastrous Jake vs. Tyson bout attracted 65 million viewers and generated over $18 million in ticket sales. For boxing purists, the fight might have been a complete bust, but for Dana Chain, he knows that these influencer bouts are a goldmine. The catch is that if it fails, it damages everyone's credibility, including his, so Dana being Dana, he loaded the deck. Andrew Tate is a boxer who doesn't mince words in or out of the ring. He's not just a name from a spreadsheet. Conversely, FV Tate has made it his personal goal to criticize Jake Paul for every error, every moment of inflated ego, and every badly staged victory. Tate is out there telling everyone that true fighters don't pad their records with retired athletes and gimmick bouts, while Jake's supporters are busy tweeting about his revolutionary impact on boxing. Jake's career is nothing more than a reality show with gloves.
Jake is actually quite a nice guy. I met Jake and he's actually quite a nice guy. I wanted to jump back in there and teach him all a lesson. And there were some fights on the card, some big fights for me being organized in November.
Tate has been vocal about Jake's fight with Tyson, calling it a cash grab and a stain on Tyson's legacy. Tyson, struggling with a knee brace, could barely make it into the ring, while Jake paraded around as if he'd beaten a prime Tyson. To Tate, this wasn't just disrespectful, it was an insult to boxing itself. Jake in his eyes belongs in a clown show, not in the same conversation as legends. But Tate isn't all talk, he's a master of psychological warfare. He's dismantled Jake's reputation, branding him a fraud and mocking his amateur theatrics at every turn. Tate's approach is calculated and relentless, aiming to strip Jake of his bravado piece by piece, until all that's left is insecurity and regret. The real kicker, though, is that Tate's threats aren't just words. He's promised a reality check like no other, vowing to show Jake what it truly means to fight someone who sees boxing as more than just a quick payday, but as a test of skill, heart, and grit. Tate is ready to expose Jake's shortcomings in the ring.
While you're next training, I know you're only 18 days away from a fight, but next time you're training and you want some sparring, fly to Romania and we'll spar and we'll film it and we'll decide if we want to release it or not afterwards. But I have no problem. We can have a sparring match anytime. That's easy,
let's
right?
do it. Let's do it, guys.
I'm down for that, but we can't. But we can't release it for free. That's like, it's like giving the people what they want.
Jake Paul is still doing his usual thing, mocking Andrew Tate, dragging Carl Froch back into the conversation, and dominating the room with his loud presence. But this time he knows the stakes are higher. If he loses, it's not just his record that takes a hit, it's the entire empire he's built on hype, bravado, and a carefully curated list of hand-picked opponents. This fight isn't just another paycheck, it's a risk that could either cement his brand or tear it down in spectacular fashion.
Really dislike Jake Paul. Now, I don't dislike him, I understand him. I want to make something clear. I would still kick the living out of Jake Paul. I'm not some washed up UFC fighter. I'm not smaller than him. I would beat the living shit out of him. And if he wants to fight, I'll fight him any day of the week. I reckon he knows that. However, I do understand what he's doing. I understand that he is very, very smart, even with his marketing angle. I'm just a YouTuber. You're not just a YouTuber. You're a full-grown man with the best coaches in the world who's dedicated his life to learning how to box for years. You know how to box. You're not a complete amateur. You know how to box very well. 3, 4, 5 years of training combat sports. You can.
Enter Dana White, pulling the strings behind the scenes while Andrew Tate plays a masterclass in mind games. Jake Paul stands on the edge of a career-defining cliff, facing a battle that could shape the future of combat sports. Will it remain the domain of real fighters with scars to prove their worth, or will influencers continue to dominate the scene? One thing's for certain: when the bell rings, the gloves won't be the only thing coming off. This is about much more than just a fight.
I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful.
But of course, I have absolute faith in myself and my brother. And